Welcome to a new video about the Vivo X100 Pro and why this camera smartphone is ranked on the top or amongst the tops in best regarding the camera features and extra features. I will show you right now in this short little video at a quick walkthrough. So let's get started. So we have the Vivo X100 Pro here, and we start off by going into the camera. There you see the camera user interface, which is quite nice already. So we have the various lenses that we can switch between, and 2x and the 10x are virtual kind of switches that we have here. So this is the 4.3x is the real zoom lens here. The 2.x is just a crop of the 1x, but we can also press on the 1x again and again to go to various different other modes here, which is quite nice, as you can see here. So the 2x is 46 or 50 millimeters. The 4.3x can be also 135 millimeter, which is 5.8x, which is also quite interesting. And we have 10x, and if we press on 10x again, we can also go to 300, and then again 25. So quite interesting possibility that we have here with this camera user interface. Usually you're holding it like this, so all those elements can be very easily reached with one hand, as you can see here, and the lens switching is quite easily done without a big issue, which is, I think, also pretty good. As you can see, it's also close focusing distance is quite cool, so I can go onto this cherry logo, and you can see how stable this is. And talking about stability, I turned on the possibility to see here this little ball that shows me how stable it can be, especially in video mode, very useful, but also the horizon level, which is quite nice. You can turn it on in your settings, like in going in here, and there you have the leveler. And then you have also the shake indicator there as well, which is quite nice. And you can have other things there as well, like the watermark that you can turn on here without going into a sub menu, which is quite nice. And effects that you can turn on, effects master there, that you can turn on or off as well if you don't need it. And yeah, this is the basic user interface. So quick settings there. You cannot reach those quick settings by any slides or something, so no accidentally enabling them, but that also means that you have to use a second hand to go in here to do all your settings, like turn off timer or turn on timer, and also switch between the aspect ratios and such things. So this needs a bit of work there. Macro mode can be turned on. Super macro mode, you can see if I turn it on, it automatically switches to 4.3 times because it's telemacro. It's optimized for this kind of thing, and I can turn it off again. I have the various different modes here: size, natural, textured, and by default I think it's vivid that it ships with. And then we have also the flash that we can turn on. We can say always on, which will always turn on this flash, which might be for macro photography, if you're using the ultra wide angle, a good thing. Otherwise you can say on, so it will, like, if I take a shot, just have a flash, or automatic. And by default it's, I think, off because it's relying on its very large sensor size and also the possibility to just use the night mode for this. This is just a photo mode. We have various different other modes. They have the video mode here, and in video mode we have also various different settings, like we can choose the and this, by the way, is interesting because, like, you see here, it is like turning my menu around, but if I go to video and try to choose here, it's not turning. I have to turn around here, which for video doesn't make any sense. For photos, maybe. So we have 1080p, 30, 60 frames per second, 4K, 30, 60 frames per second, and 8K, 30 frames per second. And we also have the possibility to choose our default resolution and frame rate. So it is not like going into the last selected one, but it will also always, after you close the camera app, go to the default one, which is, I think, the one that I would prefer in this case. Otherwise we have the stabilization option. If I turn on stabilization, ultra stabilization, in this, as it's called here, 1080p 60 frames per second is turned on. If I turn it off, then we are going back to whatever we had chosen before. We can also turn on the flashlight. In this case, it's just like always on or off. So it's a quick toggle. And then we also have the zoom buttons there, of course. And the zoom buttons here don't do the, if you double tap it, they don't do the 35mm stuff because it's like used for photos only. But when you double tap, you get like this slider here. You can smoothly zoom in and out, which might be very helpful for, yeah, pans and zooms and so on. So this is the video mode there. Also, again, swipe here left right is not doing anything. We have some more options there as well, like for example we can insert a watermark also for video. We have a teleprompter, so if you want to read something from the teleprompter, you have the possibility to do so. You can also turn it off again. Microphone, and if you click on this, is quite interesting. You have the possibility to choose your microphone. So by default it's using the phone microphone because I don't have any external plugged in. But the cool thing here is you can also use Bluetooth mics. So if you have Bluetooth devices here that have a microphone, like true wireless headsets, you can enable Bluetooth here and it will then record the audio via Bluetooth, which is quite nice. Otherwise you can use peripheral, which will use the peripheral that's just plugged in via USB-C with a TRS adapter to 3.5mm. This will work fine as well. So this is quite interesting. Then we have the grid lines that we can turn on and off. I like this. We have the leveler as well and the anti-shake that for video I think makes more sense to have it. And then we can choose the aspect ratio. We have 16:9 or wide. Wide will go into I think 21:9 or something like this aspect ratio. So those are the only aspect ratios. I really wish there would be a 1:1 aspect ratio eventually. Would be also cool, but I don't have the possibility to switch to here in this settings. And yeah, again, there's no swipe option to quickly. You have to have your second hand to do this. Then we have cinematic portrait, also quite interesting. We can use cinematic portrait on the main camera sensor with a 2x crop and on the 4.3x on the telezoom, not on the ultra wide angle. It doesn't make sense, I think. And when we go in here, we have various different settings. Like in the video mode, we have different possibilities for effects that we want to have here. And you can see if I choose the effect, it will also change the aspect ratio, which is quite nice. So these are various different cinematic effects. And then we have the possibility to use face optimizations. It's by default set to natural. You can also go to none here because I really don't like it to be on. I don't need my faces to be optimized. And we can choose the fake bokeh that we want to have in the cinematic portrait mode. Let's go one step back to video, where I want to show you I also have like the possibility to change the filter here for faces and so on, which is a possibility that you can have there as well. And then we can go to more, and under more we have Ultra HD documents. So if you want to photograph some documents, you can also go to info here. It will show you exactly what it is. Basically a document scanner that you can use here for scanning some documents. I don't even have, I think, documents here, but what I could do is like try to take a shot from this Linux mousepad that I have here. Oh, it's detecting it even. As you can see, it's drawing a line, yellow line of the document that it detected. And yeah, here you can see it's a document here, and here's like optimizing and cropping in. As you can see, nicely visible, everything, even the mouse is there. What I don't see is like the optimization for the document itself. We can go in here and edit this and then click on enhance. Then we have like enhanced contrast and grayscale if you want to. And this enhanced grayscale, contrast and so on is something that you might need to get like the grayish kind of things out there. Or if like the transparency of the paper or something like this, you can do here, which is quite nice. And you can also remove certain things here. It's processing now. It will take a while, but you have many optimization options here in the editing. It's just like I have to, for photo editing, probably I have to remove shadows here. For photo editing, I think I have to have a separate video because there's so many options that you can do there. So this is the Ultra document. Very, very nice. We have to go back to more. We have panorama, so we can have a panorama there. Pretty self-explanatory. I think we can go also to high resolution, of course. All three lenses can do high resolution. You cannot crop in, however, because it's like you can just switch between the lenses. But yeah, all of them have this 50 megapixel mode that you can choose. And then we have slow motion. So we have slow motion options here. As you can see, sadly only 1080p 120 frames per second and 240 frames per second, but there's no possibility to record 4K 120. That would be very, very cool, and I think the main camera sensor should be able to do 4K 120. Anyway, it's not possible to choose here, so, but yeah, 1080p 120 is also fine, I would say. Yeah, the same way we can also do time lapses there. Time lapses are quite interesting because you can do them in 4K 30 frames per second, and you can choose here automatically various different scenes, traffic, moving crowd, fast cloud, sunrise, and so on. So various different options, and you have even automatic here. You can choose the duration manually, like 3 minutes, 8 minutes, 20 minutes, 300 minutes, or indefinite, which will like you start and stop and automatically figure things out. This automatic kind of thing, yeah, it's not always working. So this is why I would like suggest using one of those other modes here, like if you want to do traffic and you know it's traffic or something very similar, just choose the traffic here. Traffic would work then better than anything else. And yeah, resolution wise, you can see 4K 30 frames per second. You can choose standard stabilization on or not, which is quite interesting. And yeah, we have also Pro Mode options, of course. All the Pro Mode options here, we didn't go to Pro Mode yet, but we have ISO, we have shutter speed, we have white balance, we have autofocus, and we have the metering modes like center weighted metering and so on, and exposure compensation there as well. So this is the Pro Mode. How do I exit out of there? I don't know. Let's go back like this, and let's go back to more. We have astrophotography mode, so you can see it has AR. It's also already blending in some AR stuff there and the alignment of the stars, which is quite interesting. You can turn it off if you don't like it, but it's very, very helpful if you want to do astrophotography. You have the possibility to choose like line and image, only the lines, or stickers. And you can see here number of stars. You can reduce it, you can make it more, and this is not what I wanted to do. And find constellations. You can see like I want to find a specific constellation and photograph it. So for astrophotography, also quite interesting here. And yeah, here you have some settings there as well. But one interesting thing is like this here. Auto astro portrait. So if you want to do a portrait shot of someone with the sky and illuminating the moon maybe, and also some stars in the background, you can choose this as well here, which is quite interesting. Never saw this option, I think, before. Then food photography. You have a special food photography mode, which is quite interesting. Not sure how well this will work, but we have two modes here, which is like 23mm, the wider angle, and 2.2, like 50mm. And then we have various different apertures that we can choose here, because usually when you want to photograph food, you get quite close, because we have this very large sensor. It has to calculate in some depth of field, otherwise you will lose a little bit of the details of the food, and this is what you can do here. And then you have also the possibility to choose various different food options here, like the Vivo, the soft, the warms, and the cool. So very, very cool options. They even have styles for food photography. Then live photo is what it does. As you can see, so you use a main camera sensor. It's like basically, is it switching lenses? No, I think it's only using the main camera sensor. So it has like some kind of motion that it will capture there as well for such things. So a few seconds there, little video clips basically. High resolution we already had, slow motion, super moon. So if you want to photograph the moon, you can choose between all the lenses here, as you can see beside the ultra wide angle. And yeah, it will do some nice moon stuff there. You can choose also various different scenes, like for example this scene here with a skyline that it will add in and such things. So, and you can use other stuff from your photo gallery as well if you want them to blend in somehow. Quite interesting as well. MicroMovie is for the Instagram, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube Shorts generation. So portrait video mode basically. You can see you can also choose. It's downloading some stuff. And you have some options here, forward zoom in shot, like for example this. It will give you some information how to do certain things there to achieve certain looks there. Fixed lens shots and shaky lens shots, such things. It will give you this auto lens option there. And we have some drafts that we can save. I don't have any drafts here. We have again the beauty filter that maybe might be even not only for faces but also body shaping is possible here. And we have the various different other options that you can download, like recommended. We can just like use the minimalist, for example. So it will give you a filter kind of a movie, which will give you like a movie-like effect. And some others like here, as you can see here. So they have various different options. Travel vlog will also give you these options here. And you have like various different categories where you can also choose between other things. Like if you are into traveling, you can also choose some other options there, and it will add this in. And you can see you have lots and lots of stuff there. And only rear camera can use this for shooting. Such things here. It will add some scenes where it puts you in such things, or a 3D effect like this, for example. As my hand is like going out of frame there, where it's having like this black bars there. Lots and lots of options there that you can experiment with, and it is fun to experiment with. I'm not going through all of those here because there are lots and lots of theirs, even a selfie category. So let me put selfie on, for example. How does this look like? Oh, I get like, so it's very, very fun as well, as you can see here. So let me go back. What do we have? Like all these women here. So there's a target audience. There's a man, I think. Oh, it's giving me flowers. Weird. And what's this doing? Minimalist, not doing anything. And now I'm a rabbit and apparently have lipstick on. So there are some options here, nice playing around with. Then we have Joylance. Joylance is nothing else than a QR code scanner, extract text, translate, handwrite from paper detection, and OCR, basically doing kind of thing, review expressions, garbage classification. So is it plastic? Is it recyclable or such things probably? So it's their own like kind of Google Assistant knockoff, or their own version of it. Then we have multi-camera, which is quite interesting. So scan for nearby devices, scan QR code, and then we can, for example, I could use my Vivo X100 Pro Plus, that's also shown here, as a second phone. And then I could like say, okay, this is a second phone. I can switch between them while recording, which is, I think, a super, super cool feature as well that I will try out at one point. I will show you how this works. But this is a quick overview run over the camera applications, so I will not do this right now because we can not only shoot photos but also videos, which is also a very nice addition. I think this is everything. Let's go to Pro mode, where all the fun is happening for photography. So exposure compensation, ISO, we can go up to 12,800 on the main sensor. Let's check out the zoom sensor. ISO goes to 3300, and the ultra wide angle can go to also 3300. So this is slightly a bit lower there, ISO. Shutter speed, I can go up to 32. What is it? Seconds, no? I think 32 seconds, if I'm not completely mistaken. Then we have white balance. We also have the possibility to set our own Kelvin numbers here for white balance, which is quite cool. And we can also photograph a white piece of thing, like paper usually, but I have a white table here, so let's do this. And wait a second, didn't work really. Ah, now it works. So I took this, and you can see the white balance is now done with this white table that I have here that actually doesn't appear white on this camera here, but it's white, and so the white balance changed. So this is a nice option as well. Autofocus I can set. Sadly, I don't see like, do I have my hand here, something like this. I don't see focus speaking. Can we enable focus speaking? I don't see focus speaking here. let's go into more settings where we have more settings even. As you can see, lots and lots of settings like location saved, mirrors, selfie. I don't like mirrored selfie, this is why I turned off. Super wide angle correction, so if you want distortion corrections, is there. Quick action for camera to double press the volume down button to open up the camera. Motion autofocus is possible, smart recognition, portrait features, and lots and lots of features there as well, like portrait framing applies only to the rear camera and photo, male friendly makeup. So for portraits, that like add some kind of makeup if you want to. The makeup effect is weaker for men, otherwise it will be turned on, which is like, this is why you have like this on. Remove moles and such things. I don't know you need this, but pro features here I like to have, I can turn on waveforms, which is quite interesting. A histogram I can turn on, I think that we saw already. Metering EV I can turn on, but I don't have focus peaking. I thought there was focus peaking, but apparently it's not in there. At least I can like go automatic here, EF, or I can like choose whatever I want to here. Sadly also it doesn't show numbers, which we have lots and lots of fine granular settings that you can see, and I like each setting I take, there's a nice haptic feedback for it, but we don't have numbers. I would it doesn't need to be centimeters or meters or something like that, but just like a number. I think on my Nubia ZTE that I have here, Nubia Z60 Ultra, it has numbers, so I can like, if I know the distance has always to be like this and this, then I can work with numbers here. But here we don't have numbers. And then we have the center weighted option here. You can use not only center weighted, you can use average metering or spot metering if you want to. And I think average metering might work best here. And I not only have this here, this is for photographing, but I can also like, again, go in here, choose photographs, or not only JPEG, but RAW and Super RAW, which is like the baked in super kind of edited RAW with some features added. And we have also the modes, natural, size natural, textured, and vivid that we can choose here as well, which is also quite nice. Again, the flash options there. And we can also go to video here, and video is quite cool because video has also some options like exposure compensation, ISO can in video also go to 1200, 800 here, and on the other lens I think also 3300, yes. Shutter speed we can choose here whatever you like to have. It will also give you like information about certain things, how your shutter speed should be. White balance, the same kind of options that we saw. Autofocus, also the same options, but here we have now numbers for video, which is quite interesting. So you can see when I'm moving my focus point now here, we have numbers here for video, which is like, I think for videos it might, why only for videos, but still no focus peaking, but at least I can dial in a certain settings, see it on screen if it's sharp enough, because it's like, is it zooming in or did I just, no, I have the zoom in lens, this is why it's, yeah, here I can like choose and I have to like hope that I'm nailing the autofocus if I want to do it. And again, metering that I can set up. Cool thing is we have also, like I said, the histogram on top, and if you have waveforms enabled, you just press the histogram and it will go to waveforms, which might be interesting. We see also the audio levels there. The cool thing about, I hope you can see the audio levels. Focus, Nubia Z60 Ultra, focus. The cool thing is if I tap on this, I can choose and mute the microphone or even set the sensitivity to higher here for the microphone to work, which is quite nice. It's a bit hidden, but a very nice feature nevertheless. And then I have this like closed shut eye now. If I go on this, it will hide all the elements, so I have only a very, very clean kind of setup there. As you hopefully see, hopefully it's focusing. And yeah, I have the info button here, which gives you more help and instructions. You can always read about it. It's sadly in Chinese, so yeah, you have to maybe get a translation ready, but it's quite nice there as well. Then we have a link button here again. It even allows us in Pro mode to link this to another device. Like I could link it to the Vivo X100 Pro Plus, and again, I will do a separate video about this and have it as a second, yeah, it's either a controller or like a second kind of camera that I can use here. I will dig into it later. Here we have focus peaking. I know I saw it somewhere. Here we have focus peak. Let's go. Wait a second. We don't have it in photo mode. We have it in video mode, however. I can enable focus peaking, and this is now perfect because now you can see the little yellow outlines. Probably, let's maybe zoom in. Green outlines where I'm focusing on. This is an autofocus, and I can move it. You can see how it is moving there as well. So focus peaking is there for video. And there's also exposure feedback. Sadly, I cannot turn on both exposure feedback and focus peaking. Exposure feedback shows me over or underexposed. I think blue means underexposed, and I think white would be overexposed. Maybe. Yeah, there we have white zebras that's showing overexposure there as well. So this is a possibility. Sadly, I cannot turn on both, but this is a possibility to do here in Pro Video mode as well. And you saw already one little tip. Go to more settings, go to Pro features. We have in video effects image noise reduction that we can turn off for the Pro Video mode, which is quite a nice feature because this allows us not to have like this very smeary and very soft kind of image, especially in lower light situations. I made a video about it already where I tested it out. Didn't see much of a difference there, but it might be very, very handy if you want to get the most raw video footage out of your camera. Then turn this off, and then you will have the possibility to have and you can even turn off video stabilization if you don't like it, so you get a wider field of view, not cropping in with VIS so much. Especially useful if you have a tripod or you are using a gimbal. So very, very useful there as well. Indeed. We have some other settings there as well, like portrait features like I told you about, smart recommendations that you can turn on and off, and shutter options like how the shutter works, like with a palm, for example. I can take a photo just holding my palm there to take a selfie if I have it on a tripod and cannot press it. I can also say cheese or have a touch to take a photo. We can also set the default primary camera photo length, which is quite interesting because if you don't like 23mm, like I tend to like 35mm that I'm recording the Nubia Z60 Ultra, it's on the 18 one, but it doesn't matter. Then I can go and choose, I want the default to be 1.5 times, so 35mm, which gives you better kind of angle for portraits, for example. I can choose it here. Enhanced night sky I can turn off or on, which is like if you don't want the night sky to be enhanced, like so bluish or something like this, you can just turn it off here and it will stop enhancing the night sky. Sometimes it's enhancing and sometimes it's not, so turn it off and see if it helps here. Finished photo orientation prompt, so it prompt you also about something there. And then some video options there as well, default resolution and frame rate. Like I said, you can set it up for various different modes, like for video, for pro video, for slow-mo, for time-lapse. You can set up the various different default options. Very, very cool as well. You can have, and this is quite interesting, the codec here. I choose H.265 because it saves a bit of memory, but then on the bitrate, you can choose a higher bitrate. By default, it's 24 Mbps. But you can also go to high, which is 48 Mbps, and this is, I think, for H.265, very, very cool. Let's go to H.264. How does it change? Yeah, H.264 is 48 Mbit per second, and high would be 64 Mbit per second. This can reach, be even better than on some cameras, because I have some cameras that in H.264 can only reach 50 Mbits per second there. And I think 100 Mbits per second is also reachable. But yeah, like I said, if you go to H.265, you can choose the higher quality here, which is 48 Mbits per second. If you want to get higher quality, choose this. Free sound tracking, so it will have like surround sound tracking there. Auto low light FPS, so it automatically switches to 24 frames per second if you are in low light situation. And off-screen recording, so to preserve a bit of battery, but also not overheat so quickly. The screen will turn off after a given time. Is it written there? For professional video, for slow-mo and cinematic portrait mode, it will automatically enter off-screen recording to enter the recording duration. So we have a longer recording duration because it's like not overheating so much and not using so much battery. And some other settings there as well. Keep settings is a possibility to say, okay, I want certain settings that I choose here in the camera app to be kept even after restart. So you can choose the camera mode, for example. So if I'm always like photographing, for example, in pro photo mode, then I want to have the pro photo mode always active. When I start the camera app, I can choose camera mode, save it. Photo mode status as well, like filters, effects that I turned on and off. I can do this portraits mode status there that it shows, and the pro mode status there as well, like the exposure, ISO, shutter speed, white balance, focus settings, and so on to keep. So you have fine granular settings there as well. HDR, you can also save the HDR settings there. That's pretty much everything. It's a very, very large run through, so half an hour already video about this one. You can see how slow the shutter speed is, 1/8 of a second. Let's go to maybe automatic there, a bit better. Quick run through. We have other options like portrait mode, for example. Portrait mode has so many nice options. Like, for example, I can choose a filter here, a vintage filter I really, really like. And I can recommend you can also like choose how much you want to apply from the vintage filter or other filters that you have here. You can choose. I really like the vintage filter. I have it on mostly. Face enhancement again I can turn on, but I can also have various different other size, different bokeh balls that are basically simulating, and also have like a cinematic one, which just gives you cinematic kind of photos then, and switches to this 21:9 aspect ratio, I think it is, which is also quite cool. I think the Sonar one is the one that I like. Biotar is also quite cool. But yeah, and you have then, if you are a total newbie, you can click on this button and it will give you like information, like I want to have landscape portrait, street portrait, natural portrait, classic portrait, 85 figure portrait. So this is basically something that is very similar to the one that Xiaomi does on their Leica enabled lenses, and it will automatically switch. Like if I go to classic portrait, for example, it will automatically go to Biotar. It will go automatically to crisp here for the effects, and then choose here the Biotar one. So you have the possibility to choose also this here, and by default it's like natural portrait, for example, and this will go in here, have natural, and it's choosing natural there as well. So various different options that we have here, and we can turn off and on and choose and deal with. And you can also go into info, which gives you information also about the portraits there as well. Very, very cool. I'm not going through all of this because, like I said, 30 minutes already, and yeah, it's not stopping. And the cool thing about the portrait mode is that it will show us the millimeters here in portrait mode. So it's not showing us the 1x, 2x and so on. It's showing us millimeters. So 24, 35, 50, 85 and 100 millimeter. 100 is the real true the true portrait lens there. It's a 4.3 times zoom lens. 85 is like a crop in, and I think it's also using a little bit of the telezoom lens for detail retrieval. Otherwise, I cannot imagine how good it is. And yeah, the rest is also pretty good there as well. Then we have night mode shooting options. There we have night panorama night shooting options. We have the possibility to have long exposure. You can see we have various different options there. Again, filters, flow, traffic, night graffiti that we can do, waterfalls, fireworks that we can photograph as special mode for this, and star trails and so on, to have like the best photos there with the help of an assistant there. Then again, supermoon that you can also enable from here from the night mode, and astrophotography that you can also enable from here, and he has various different options there that I showed you earlier as well. Then we have, last but not least, the snapshot mode. We can also enable the live photo, which will basically record and capture a short little video clip there. And we can go into live mode again. We have various different filters here that we can apply to this. This basically is for sports and actions, so it will, as quickly as possible, take the shot. This means also we have a bit of more noise not introduced, but a bit more noise kept in, because the noise reduction is not running so aggressively, and some other HDR features are maybe not running so aggressively there as well. I have some options here as well that we can take. Timers I don't think make any sense there. But yeah, we have the possibility to use the snapshot mode in the main camera sensor and in a telecamera sensor, sadly not the ultra wide angle here. Quick run through the Vivo X100 Pro's camera app, and this is only the camera app version 13.05.441. That might be that there are some things that I missed, first of all, and second of all, it could be also that there are lots and lots of new features coming with future updates. And like I said, Pro mode is very, very cool here indeed, and especially Pro video mode is very cool, but also for photo taking, I think very nice. It keeps the settings. It's a beast. This is why it's so highly ranked up there. The only thing where it's like falling a little bit behind the Sony ones are a few things, like for example the possibility to use everything with one hand, which is most of the time given also here, but not always. Like if I want to switch to RAW, I have to use the other hand and such things. So there are a few things where I would say it could optimize a little bit more, but it's a very good kind of camera system that you will get here on the Vivo X100 Pro. Hope you enjoyed this little walkthrough of the Vivo X100 Pro and all its camera settings and modes. And that's it for this video. Hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. Until the next time. Bye.